It was a bright afternoon in a beautiful luxury cafe in the heart of the city. Expensive chairs, shining chandeliers, and soft music filled the room. Laughter echoed between clinking cups and quiet conversations. People sat around in suits, dresses, and shiny watches. The kind of place where rich people met for coffee and long talks. The glass door opened. A woman entered. She was tall, graceful, and confident. Her name was Maya. She wore a stylish black dress, gold earrings, and held a brown leather bag. Her eyes were calm, her walk steady. She looked around and slowly stepped toward the host table. There stood Jake, a young white server in his late 20s. His shirt was neat, but his face wasn't kind. When he saw Maya, his eyebrows lifted slightly. He gave her a fake smile, then quickly looked her up and down. "Good afternoon," Maya said politely. "A table for one, please." Jake didn't smile back. Instead, he crossed his arms and tilted his head. "Are you sure you're in the right place? This cafe is expensive," he said, his voice full of sarcasm. Maya didn't react. She just nodded slowly. "Yes, I know. I'd still like a seat." Jake looked past her, then leaned toward another server, whispering something. The other server chuckled. Then Jake turned back to Maya. "We're actually full right now," he said, even though there were clearly many empty tables. Maya's expression didn't change. She looked around at the empty chairs, then back at Jake. "I don't mind waiting," she said gently. Jake rolled his eyes. "Suit yourself," he muttered. A few nearby customers noticed the tone. A couple sitting near the window raised their eyebrows. A woman by the door took out her phone. She had started recording. Jake grabbed a menu without care and handed it to Maya like he was throwing trash on a table. "There," he said. "You can sit by the corner. Try not to bother anyone." Maya took the menu slowly. She walked to the corner table and sat down. She didn't say a word. Her movements were calm, almost peaceful. But her eyes, they watched everything. Whispers and eyes. Around her, the energy in the room shifted. Some guests looked away, pretending not to see. Others kept glancing toward her and Jake. One woman whispered to her friend, "That was awful. Did you see how he treated her?" Another man took out his phone and began to type quickly, probably tweeting what he just witnessed. Jake didn't care. He stood by the coffee bar, laughing again with the other staff. "She probably thinks we're lucky to serve her," he said. "These people." He didn't know he was being recorded. Maya's calm. Maya sat at the table. She placed her bag down, opened the menu. She didn't touch the water Jake brought. It was warm and half spilled. She didn't complain. She didn't raise her voice. Instead, she looked out the window, as if she was thinking about something bigger, like she wasn't really there, but already 3 steps ahead. She pulled out her phone and typed a message, a short one. Then she smiled to herself. A moment that changed everything. Jake walked past her table again and said loudly, "People these days think dressing up means they belong." Maya slowly stood up. She turned to him with a soft smile. The room went quiet. The lady still recording held her phone tighter. Maya looked Jake straight in the eyes and said, "You'll remember this moment." Jake frowned. "What does that mean?" he asked, annoyed. But Maya didn't explain. She just picked up her bag, walked past him, and left the cafe. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She didn't fight. But somehow, her calm was louder than a scream. Outside the cafe, Maya walked down the street with the same calm steps. She wasn't in a rush. Her face was still, her eyes focused. But something had changed. She wasn't just a customer anymore. She reached a black car waiting by the side of the road. A man in a suit opened the door for her. "Did everything go as expected?" he asked. Maya gave a soft nod and sat inside. "Yes," she said. They showed their true faces. The driver started the engine. Maya took out her phone again and opened a message. It was from someone named Daniel. Message. Our team has the full video. We also captured audio. Ready to review. Maya typed back. Good. Let's prepare the report. Back at the cafe. Inside the cafe, Jake was still joking with another server. Did you see the look on her face when I told her this place was expensive? He laughed. His friend chuckled. Man, you're gonna get in trouble one day. Jake shrugged. Nah, people like her just play the victim. But not everyone agreed. At the corner, a young woman named Leah sat with her laptop. She was a freelance blogger. She had seen everything. And she had caught the whole moment on her phone. She stared at Jake, then looked down at her screen and started writing. Blog title: Racism Served with Coffee, My Experience at Loom Café. She hit save draft. Not publish. Not yet. Maya's world. The next morning, Maya sat in a quiet office. Big windows behind her showed the city skyline. This wasn't her home. It was a workspace provided by an organization she led, Voices of Respect, a global nonprofit working on equality, justice, and corporate training. Yes, Maya wasn't just any traveler. She was Dr. Maya Collins, a best-selling author, a motivational speaker, and a respected activist. But she never introduced herself that way. She believed people should be kind without needing to know who someone was. Now, with the video in hand and full proof of Jake's behavior, she had a choice. Should we go public? Daniel asked her. He was one of her assistants. Maya leaned back in her chair, thinking. Her face looked calm, but her fingers tapped slowly on the table. Not yet, she said. I want to see if they'll make it right. But they don't know who you are. Exactly, Maya replied. The second visit. Later that week, Maya returned to the cafe. This time, she wore a simple blue dress. No jewelry, no makeup, just herself. Jake saw her and rolled his eyes. You again, he said loudly. Other customers looked up. Maya smiled politely. Is the manager in today? Jake didn't answer. Instead, he turned and walked to the back. He returned with Tom, the cafe manager. Tom was older, tired-looking, with a voice that tried to sound friendly, but always felt fake. Can I help you? He asked Maya. I wanted to give you a chance, Maya said calmly. Tom looked confused. Excuse me. To do the right thing. You saw how your staff treated me. You had a chance to fix it. You chose not to. Tom's face turned red. Ma'am, I think you're overreacting. Jake is one of our best. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. Maya reached into her bag and pulled out a small folder. She placed it on the counter. Inside were printed screenshots, video stills, and a copy of Jake's mocking email. Tom opened it. His hands trembled a little. Where did you get this? He asked. Maya didn't answer. She turned and walked out again. But this time, as the door closed behind her, everyone in the cafe was staring, not at her, but at Tom and Jake. The sun rose slowly over the city. Birds flew across the sky. But inside the cafe, the mood was anything but peaceful. Tom, the manager, sat nervously in his office. He had read the folder 3 times already. Each page showed proof of what had happened. Jake's words, his actions, and even the quiet smiles from other staff when Maya was mocked. This can ruin us, he muttered. He picked up the phone and called his boss. We have a problem, he said. A big one. Jake's trouble begins. Meanwhile, Jake was still smiling like nothing had happened. He walked through the cafe, joking with a group of regulars, pretending to be the star of the show. But people were starting to look at him differently. A woman at table 4 didn't respond when he greeted her. A man at table 7 asked for a different server. Then Leah, the blogger from before, returned. She sat at the same corner, opened her laptop, and stared right at Jake. Back for more? Jake asked, pretending to smile. Leah didn't respond. She just pressed publish. The internet reacts. Within 1 hour, Leah's blog post started spreading online. The title was powerful. I watched a racist server mock a woman. Then I found out who she really was. The post had the video of Jake's rude words. It also had pictures of Maya, her calm reaction, and the chilling words she left behind. You'll remember this moment. Twitter lit up. Instagram stories began tagging the cafe. Comments poured in. This is 2025. How is this still happening? She handled it with so much grace. Where can I find Dr. Maya Collins' books? Hashtags began to trend. Hashtag respect Maya, hashtag cafe shame, and hashtag woishi. Maya watches. Back in her hotel room, Maya sat on a couch with her laptop open. She scrolled through the messages, tweets, and reactions. But she didn't smile. She looked tired, like a part of her had seen this too many times before. Daniel came in with coffee. It's happening, he said. Yes, Maya replied. Now let's see what they'll do. Should I prepare the press release? Not yet. I want to know if they'll take responsibility without pressure. And if they don't. Maya finally looked up. Then we show them who I really am. Café in panic. Tom rushed to the cafe's front room. Customers were whispering. Phones were out. Some were reading Leah's blog while sitting in the same cafe it talked about. Jake walked up. What's going on? He asked. Tom didn't answer. Instead, he pulled Jake into the office and closed the door. What did you do? Tom asked, his voice low and angry. Nothing. I was just joking around. She was acting like she owned the place. You mocked a respected public figure. A woman who's more powerful than you can imagine. Jake blinked. What do you mean? Tom threw a magazine on the table. The cover showed Maya, smiling with world leaders. She's Dr. Maya Collins, and the whole world is watching. Jake turned pale. A weak apology. That evening, the cafe posted a message online. We are aware of a situation involving one of our staff members and a valued guest. We are investigating the matter. We take such claims seriously. The comments came in fast. Too late. This is not an apology. You're only reacting because she's famous. People weren't fooled. The video had done its job. The truth was out. The next morning, the city streets were buzzing. People rushed to work, holding coffee cups and phones. But inside Loom Cafe, time felt slower. Staff whispered to each other. Customers sat quietly, some with their phones pointed at the front door. They were waiting for her. And then she came. Maya walks in. The glass door opened. Maya stepped inside. This time, she wore a white suit. Simple, elegant, and sharp. No makeup, no smile. Just focus. Everyone in the cafe turned. Even Jake, standing near the coffee machine, froze. Tom, the manager, stepped out quickly. Dr. Collins, he said nervously. Can we talk? Maya didn't move toward him. She walked slowly to the same table she sat at during her first visit. She placed her bag down, sat, and looked around the room. People stared. Some nodded in quiet respect. Others started recording. The speech. Maya stood. She didn't raise her voice, but everyone could hear her. I didn't come here to embarrass anyone, she said softly. I came here for coffee. That's all. But instead of service, I was served something else. Disrespect. Jake looked down at the floor. Tom looked uncomfortable. You didn't know who I was, Maya continued. And that's okay. You're not supposed to. Because respect should never depend on someone's name, money, or fame. People in the cafe nodded slowly. Maya reached into her bag and pulled out a small booklet. It was titled Dignity at Work, a training guide created by her foundation. She placed it on the front counter. This is a gift for every worker here. Because change doesn't begin with punishment, it begins with education. Tom's response. Tom cleared his throat. Dr. Collins, we're truly sorry. I realize now we failed not just you, but our customers and our values. He turned to the staff. We're closing for a full day of training. Effective immediately. All staff will attend. Jake looked up, surprised. Tom continued. And Jake, your behavior doesn't represent who we want to be. You are suspended without pay. If you wish to return, you must complete all training and write a formal letter of apology. Gasps filled the room. Jake turned red, but he said nothing. For once, he was silent. A ripple of change. The video of Maya's return went viral. Not because she shouted, not because she punished, but because she chose grace over hate and dignity over anger. News channels picked up the story. Headlines read, "Woman teaches respect without saying a word." Grace under fire. Dr. Maya Collins breaks the internet again. People started tagging businesses. We need training like this. Every workplace should read her booklet. Respect should be the standard. Maya reflects. That night, Maya sat on her hotel balcony, looking at the stars. Daniel joined her with a cup of tea. "You were brilliant today," he said. "I didn't want to be," Maya replied. "Why?" She turned toward him. "Because I shouldn't have to teach people how to treat others. That should be normal." "But it's not," Daniel said. "At least, not yet." Maya nodded slowly. "Then I guess we still have work to do." Cliffhanger. Daniel picked up his phone. "You just got a message," he said, "from the mayor's office." Maya raised an eyebrow. "What does it say?" Daniel smiled. "They want to meet with you. They're asking if you'd help them create a citywide training program." Maya looked out at the city lights. "Let's see how far this can go." The next morning, Maya stood in front of a tall government building. A black car dropped her off at the steps. People nearby whispered. They recognized her. Some held out phones. Some smiled with respect. But Maya didn't stop for cameras. She wasn't chasing fame. She had come for something more important. Change. A new invitation. Inside, she was welcomed by city officials. The mayor himself stood up from behind a large desk. "Dr. Collins, it's an honor," he said, shaking her hand. "Your voice is reaching across the world." Maya nodded politely. "Thank you, but I'm just doing what anyone should." "Still," the mayor said, "we'd like your help. Your program is powerful. We want it in our schools, offices, even public services." Maya's eyes lit up, just a little. "You mean, train the whole city?" "Exactly." It was a big step, bigger than anything she'd done before. But Maya wasn't afraid of big steps. "I'll do it," she said, "if you promise this won't just be for show." "It won't," the mayor replied. "We need this, now more than ever." Jake faces the truth. Meanwhile, back at the cafe, Jake sat in silence in the employee room. He held a printed copy of the blog post in his hands. Every word burned. Every comment stung. "You embarrassed all of us," another staff member told him. "You made this place look ugly." Jake didn't fight back this time. He stared at the screen on his phone where Maya stood calmly in the cafe, saying, "Respect should never depend on someone's name, money, or fame." He whispered, "She's right." A letter he never thought he'd write. That night, Jake sat at home at his small kitchen table. A single lamp lit the room. In front of him was a blank page. Then slowly he began to write. "Dear Dr. Collins, I was wrong. I judged you without knowing you. I mocked you without reason. Watching the video of myself, I didn't like what I saw. You taught me something I never learned in school, that true power is silent, patient, and kind. I'm sorry, truly. I'm ready to learn. I hope one day I can be better than I was that day." He signed the letter, folded it, and placed it in an envelope. A visit from the past. 2 days later, Maya received the letter. She read it quietly in her office. Daniel stood nearby, watching her face. "Well?" he asked. He wrote it himself, she said softly. Is it real? It feels real. Maya placed the letter beside her on the desk. Maybe there's hope for him after all. Maya's mission grows. Within weeks, Maya's program, Voices of Respect, began launching citywide. She visited schools, spoke in town halls, appeared on talk shows. But she always stayed grounded. I'm not here to be famous, she told one reporter. I'm here to remind people of something simple. Kindness is power. Her message touched hearts everywhere. Parents began reading her book to their children. Offices invited her team to train their staff. Even police departments reached out, asking for help. One last surprise. One evening, Maya returned to Café, quietly. She wore jeans and a hoodie. No cameras, no media. Just her. She ordered a drink. A new server smiled and said, "We're honored to have you here." She sat at the same corner table. Moments later, Jake appeared. Not in uniform, just as a visitor. He stood nervously by her table. "May I?" he asked. Maya nodded. He sat down across from her. "Thank you for reading my letter," he said. "Thank you for writing it," she replied. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Jake spoke again. "I didn't know people like you could be so calm, so patient." "That's the part people often forget," Maya said. "The loudest power is not always the strongest. Sometimes it's the quiet one that changes the world." Cliffhanger. Jake looked up. "Would you let me help? Join your program? Maybe teach others what I learned?" Maya paused, surprised. Then a soft smile touched her lips. "That depends," she said. "Are you ready to walk a long road?" Jake nodded. "I'm ready." Maya's name was everywhere now. TV interviews, social media clips, magazine covers. People were calling her the voice of grace. But as her light grew, so did the shadows behind her. A whisper in the dark. Late one night, Maya sat in her office, finishing a training schedule. Daniel walked in with his phone in hand, his face serious. "You need to see this," he said. Maya took the phone and watched. It was a video, edited to make her look angry. Fake subtitles, twisted words. Comments below were hateful. "She's trying to divide people. This is just reverse racism." Another angry woman playing victim. Maya slowly put the phone down. "They're twisting the truth." Daniel nodded. "They're scared. Your voice is too strong, so they want to break it." Media storm. By morning, some news channels picked it up. One show said Maya was creating tension in peaceful workplaces. Another asked, why should one woman decide what respect looks like? The pressure was real. Her team was shaken. Sponsors paused support. One school canceled her workshop. Even some of her friends stayed quiet. Maya reflects. Alone in her apartment, Maya stared out the window at the city lights. She remembered her first job. She was young, scared, the only black woman in a room full of suits. Back then, her voice trembled when she spoke. Now the world listened, and some hated it. Daniel entered quietly. "You okay? I thought doing the right thing would feel better than this." Daniel sat beside her. "The higher the light, the longer the shadow. But you've come too far to step back now." Maya looked at him. "What if I don't have the strength?" Daniel handed her something. Her old notebook, the one from her first speech. Inside it said, "Speak softly, stand tall, and never, ever sit down." Maya smiled. I needed that. A surprise ally. The next day, Maya received a call. From someone unexpected. "Jake, I saw the hate online," he said. "I want to help." Maya paused. "Why?" "Because you didn't just change me. You opened my eyes. I used to laugh at people like you. Now I want to protect them." Maya nodded. "Then speak. Tell your story." Jake's video. Jake recorded a video. Just him, sitting in his kitchen. He told the story of how he insulted Maya, how he thought it was normal, how she didn't shout or insult him. She didn't cancel me. She taught me, gave me a second chance. I'll never forget that. The video went viral. People started changing their minds. This is what learning looks like. Maya is exactly what we need right now. Respect is not weakness, it's strength. Maya returns. Maya stood again at a city stage. This time, the hall was packed. Kids, teachers, workers, even strangers filled every seat. Phones were lifted. The lights were on her face. But she stood tall. This isn't about one cafe, one insult, or one woman, Maya said. It's about millions of quiet moments that shape who we are. We're not here to blame. We're here to build. Applause. A standing ovation. Cliffhanger. After the speech, a young woman walked up to her backstage. She looked nervous. "Dr. Collins, I think you knew my mother." Maya's eyes widened. "Your mother?" The girl handed her a photo. Maya froze. It was a picture of her and a woman from 20 years ago. "She used to talk about you," the girl said. "She said you saved her, but she never told me how." Maya stared at the photo. Her hands trembled. "I haven't seen her since the fire." Maya sat on the edge of the stage, staring at the photo in her hands. The girl beside her looked hopeful. "You knew her, right?" the girl asked again. "Her name was Tara, my mother." Maya's voice was soft. "Tara and I were like sisters once. We survived something together, something I never talked about again." Flashback. A fire long ago, 20 years earlier, a small apartment building on the edge of town. Maya, young and struggling, lived in a tiny room. Tara lived across the hall with her baby. One night, an old heater sparked a fire. Smoke filled the halls. People screamed. Maya rushed out, but then heard the baby crying. Tara was unconscious from the smoke. Without thinking, Maya went back inside. She wrapped the baby in her jacket, pulled Tara out through the smoke, step by step. By the time they got outside, Maya collapsed. When she woke up, Tara was gone. Moved away. No goodbye. No thank you. Just gone. Back to the present. Maya blinked as tears welled in her eyes. "I thought she forgot me," she whispered. "She didn't," the girl replied. "She told me your name every night before bed. She said, 'Maya saved us both. Be strong like her.'" Maya smiled, her heart full. "What's your name?" she asked. "Hope," the girl replied. Hope's story. Hope shared more. She worked 2 jobs, went to school at night. But sometimes she felt small, invisible, until she saw Maya on the news. "I didn't know you were that Maya. I just knew I had to meet you." Maya took her hand. "You're not invisible anymore, Hope. You're a legacy, and legacies are meant to shine." Jake's redemption continues. Elsewhere, Jake stood in a classroom, helping with Maya's training program. He now wore a badge that read Community Mentor. He told kids his story. "I used to judge people by the way they looked. I don't anymore, because someone showed me what real strength looks like." The students clapped. One boy raised his hand. "Do you still feel bad for what you did?" Jake nodded. "Every day. But now I use it to make things better." The final step. Back at the cafe, Maya returned once more. This time, she brought Hope with her. The manager greeted them with flowers. "We're proud to say this cafe is now the first certified respect, safe space in the city," he said. A small plaque hung near the entrance with Maya's name and a quote. "Kindness is louder than hate. Speak it. Live it." Jake approached, wearing a new uniform. He smiled nervously at Maya. "Still learning," he said. Maya smiled back. "Still teaching." Hope snapped a photo of the moment. The internet loved it. Epilogue. A new beginning. 1 year later, Maya stood in front of a new building. the Collins Center for Respect and Justice. Inside, young people were learning to lead. Teachers were being trained. Families were finding hope. Hope, now a full-time student and program leader, stood beside Maya on stage during the opening. "We started with one voice," Maya said, "but now we are many. This center is for every person who ever felt small. You're not small. You're powerful." The crowd cheered. Maya looked up. Sunlight poured through the windows. The past was behind her. But the future, it was just beginning. 1 year had passed since the cafe incident. Maya's story had gone viral. Her center had opened. But what happened next? No one could have predicted. The interview that touched millions. A popular TV host invited Maya and Hope for an interview. The studio was full. Cameras rolled. Viewers from around the world tuned in. The host smiled. "Maya, you never raised your voice. You never cursed anyone. And still, you moved the world. How?" Maya looked at Hope, then at the camera. "I remembered who I was, and I refused to become what they thought of me." Hope nodded beside her. "And because she stood tall, I learned to stand too." The interview ended with applause and tears. That same night, it became the most shared video online. A message from a stranger. The next day, Maya received an email. It was from a woman in another country. She was a single mother working at a hotel. Her boss treated her poorly. But after watching Maya's story, she walked into his office and finally said, "I deserve respect, just like anyone else." The boss listened. Things changed. One story had reached across oceans. Jake's full circle moment. Meanwhile, Jake had become a community speaker. He now visited schools, helping kids understand the power of their words and actions. At one school, a boy raised his hand. "Sir, have you ever made a mistake you couldn't take back?" Jake looked at the boy and replied, "Yes, but that mistake became my wake-up call. And now, I use it to protect others from making the same one." The boy nodded. "Then maybe I can change too." Hope's dream begins. Hope started college on a full scholarship. She was studying social work, determined to help others like her mom once needed help. One afternoon, Maya visited her dorm. She found Hope helping a girl who had just arrived and was scared to fit in. Hope smiled and said, "You're not alone here. We build together." Maya's heart swelled with pride. She saw in Hope a new beginning, a new voice, a new light. Maya's letter. Maya sat in her office one evening, reflecting on the past. She took out a fresh notebook and began to write. To the girl who thinks she's too quiet. To the boy who feels invisible. To anyone who was ever told you don't belong. I see you, and the world needs you. Stand tall. Stay kind. Speak, even if your voice shakes, because someone somewhere is waiting to hear it. She closed the notebook and placed it on her desk. That message would one day begin her book.